Hey everyone, welcome to the final 2025 Black History Month Trap Chat episode, Trailblazing Footprints, Writing Black History Today. So, this person needs no introduction, but I am going to give my introduction of him, a passionate, high energy, self-starter, father of 6, husband, Richmond native. I'm about to tell his age, 1997. Atlantic 10 Defensive Player of the Year. Drafted in the 4th round of the 1998 NFL draft to the Washington people who used to be called that name we don't say no more. Also a former Eagle, former Chief, former Texan, the current Vice President of Business Development of McInnes Group, a Kansas City Chiefs ambassador, host of the Process podcast. Some of y'all may know him as number 59. Some of y'all may know him as Barbershop. I call him by his entire name, Shawn Barber. My Richmond friend, my U of R buddy. How are you?
I'm doing amazing today. God is good. Let's start with that. God is great, always. He always is, and always on time. So just dropped my 2 oldest sons off at the airport. You talked about being a father of 6. Sometimes I feel like I'm a father of 600 when you talk about the community. But yes, I am the father of 6, 5 boys and a girl, a husband of one and only.
Praise him.
But yeah, I had dropped my 2 boys off at the airport. One is heading back to Arizona. He plays minor league baseball for the Royals. And my other son works with the equipment staff for the Chiefs, and he's actually on vacation. He's heading to Portugal. Spend 7 days in Portugal. Yeah, so he's going to enrich his culture. Yeah, he's going to get a little bit of a little immerse into another nation. So I look forward to allowing my kids to spread their wings and be fruitful, be who all they can be, man.
I love it. We're going to get into some of that in the show. So let's kick it off because we got a lot to talk about today. As I mentioned, you had an impressive 10-year NFL career, but you have built an equally remarkable retirement journey. You like how I keep putting in the old people words? Retirement, 1990. Anyway, what motivated your transition into business leadership, coaching, scouting, podcasting, and community engagement rather than stepping away from the sports world entirely?
Well, I'm not going to run away from my age. I just celebrated my 50th birthday in January, so I'm wise beyond my years. I think being able to kind of lean into the competitive nature of playing professional sports. That was the thing for me. It was competition. Game of checkers, chess, card games, and spades, and bourrée, bid whiz, whatever it is, hopscotch, jump rope. Back in the day, we had to do the pull-up, presidential, see how long you can hang up. All of those things. I just took everything as a challenge, man. Everything was just a challenge to see how I could do the best I could do, be the best version of myself. Obviously honoring my family, honoring my friends, my neighborhood, whatever it was. But I did realize from football, Father Time, he doesn't play favorites. And so on the field, when it came time to be on the field, your body gets old, kind of like in dog years, right? 10 years on the football field, when it's come to the pros, I kind of felt like I played about 30 years of football in that short amount of time due to the long training camps, the long practices, the long seasons. When you talk about that as, being different from the college and the high school level. But I realized in college really early on that it was best for me just to focus on the controllables, things that I could really control. My effort, my attitude, those are the things that was going to take me further than any type of skill or knowledge of the game. So that's what I advise my own kids, like just figure out in whatever the environment is, whatever you're trying to be great at, split it into 2 categories. Understand what you can control, what you actually have control over, and then understand what things are outside of your control, and spend 90% of your time just making sure you're really good and great at the things you actually can control. And then when some of those uncontrollables come up, curveballs, just be prepared to adjust, right? Because if we don't adjust, we don't evolve, then we die off. We become extinct. So I would say that's the thing about competitive football, NFL, that's kind of brought me to this moment. Like you said, with 50 years of being here on this earth, haven't done everything right. I am definitely, you talk about broken vessels. Man, I've been through some tough times, but listen, KG, I love the opportunity to have an opportunity to be a part of this podcast. You are wise beyond your years. You got some wisdom and knowledge you've been dropping to all the folks for many years.
Thank you.
So I'm just, again, I'm honored. I'm honored, and I'm just so respectful of your time and your listeners, and thanks for letting them maybe listen to me for a little bit.
No, I appreciate you. You know that. So I'm going to stay there when we're talking about leadership, because you are currently the Vice President of Business Development. What are some parallels between leading in business and also leading on the field?
Oh, my goodness. Leading in business versus on the field, I would say trust and communication has always been two keys. We talk about, whether we're talking about Super Bowl, we talk about preseason. Teams go from the beginning of the season, training camp, preseason. You're playing with some different guys, but you have to learn how to communicate. You have to trust that everybody's going to do their job each and every play so that everybody can go play full speed. I think in the business world, same way. We got producers, we got team managers, we have insurance servicers. Then we got CEOs, CFOs, and we got a VP of business development. So we have everybody has their different lane that they drive in here at the McGinnis Group. And so as a corporation, as a company, I have to trust and communicate what my expectations are of the other people in the office. And I have an expectation that they're doing their job to the highest level of their possibility. I don't go back looking for people who are coming in late, leaving early, not turning in complete work forms and that kind of stuff. If I'm going down a road of trying to understand prospects and suspects in determining which of those can be a client of ours, if somebody gives me a lead and I turn back and set up a meeting with them, I don't follow up to figure out if they made it to the meeting, if they achieved their goals. And so there's a lot of trust that goes on this because it's a very big company. We have a lot of clients we serve. I'm a team of one when we talk about business development. So I put a lot of trust in my team members to do what I set them up to achieve. And then there's some acronyms that TEAM, team together, everybody achieves more. I've talked to my kids about that. I've talked to my teammates about that. That's something that has gotten me through the years. And then understanding that everything has a process, and the process is usually always greater than what it produces. Some people are so focused on the goal and just the product in the end game, they don't pay enough respect and keys, and they don't give enough acknowledgement to the process it takes to get there. If you really really focus on fine-tuning your process, understanding the why are you doing what you do, and whether that's on the field or as a business leader, a lot of times you can replicate that process and lead to really great results over and over and over again, versus just being so focused on closing the deal, getting the client. Because we know in life, when it comes to the insurance world, there's somebody always out there trying to lure your client away from you. So if you don't have that proper process, if you're not paying them the right amount of respect, time, effort, and communicating and then trusting, then you'll end up losing that client. So it's all about the process.
Okay, I appreciate that. And you gave me some good quotables I'm going to add to my lexicon, to my repertoire. I love an acronym and I love a catchphrase. And you dropped a few that I'm going to steal from you, unfortunately. You will get, don't send me a bill. No bills. Okay, don't send me a bill.
Everything I've ever said, I'm telling you, I didn't come up with it. I might have took two things and melted them together. I might have changed it. Fear, face everything and run, or forget everything and rise. Those type of things. I might have changed a couple of the words around to fit my narrative and what I'm going through, but it's always somebody before me, some great man or woman who've come before me, dropped a nugget, and then I kind of just digested it and let it sit in my soul a little bit, figure out how I can use it and bless somebody else.
Okay, we're going to shift us a little bit, and then we're going to get back to some more stuff. But it is Black History Month, and we gotta, we gotta talk about some things that's going on. I mean, we know diversity and inclusion is a big hot topic. It's been an extremely hot topic, specifically in the NFL. You have worked with the D&I initiatives in the NFL and with other various sports organizations. So I want to ask you, as an insider, as someone who's actually experienced, as someone who's not looking from the inside, from the outside in, what Chris Brown say, you can't get in the club. Like, you hating from outside, like you can't get in. So what changes have you observed regarding Black representation and leadership positions across sports, like in coaching and scouting and the front office? And then what do you think still needs to be done to create a more equitable opportunities?
Well, I mean, first thing we got to just state the obvious is that, bad teams have terrible culture. And so we talk about the NFL and things that are going on there. I mean, teams that are not getting to the playoffs, usually the reason they get it's not the skill level of the players on the field. It's the culture. It starts with the ownership group. Then it leaks down from the ownership group to the general manager, from the general manager to the coaches he hired, and then that head coach, which coaches on his staff, and how does he entrust that leadership and how does that team structure together to be able to go out there and perform on the field, on and off the field, actually. So what can we do when we realize it's a top-down structure, right? You want to create avenue for there to be some more diversity when it comes to the ownership group. Well, with the NFL, there's 32 owners. You have to get a majority or over a majority. You have to get like 2/3 of the vote for somebody to take on, even purchase a team. So a minority having $1 billion and you wanting to go buy the next available football team for $500 million or $700 million, because you have the assets available, still doesn't mean you're going to be allowed to be a part of this NFL, this pro football system. So the way it's kind of set up is to, almost create a wall, not to keep themselves protected, but to not let anybody in. And so you understand what you're facing, understand what you're going up against. And so when you're a minority, when you're talking about being a minority coach, general manager, any of the significant roles, you just got to realize the culture you're going into is a culture where it actually has like a glass ceiling. So you can see the owners, you see all 32 of them sitting around, but none of them appear to look like you or share your culture or your respect for diversity or inclusion. So it's kind of it's a club, and they want to keep their club tight and small. And a lot of it has to do with money sharing, revenue sharing, and some of the rules about whether you want to call the NFL a monopoly or not. And some of the when things don't go right and a certain player decides to maybe stand up against the league. Well, if those 32 owners are tight, where it's easier to get that disgruntled employee off the field and out of the pro ranks a lot easier than when you have 32 individual owners working as just individuals. So it's definitely I don't want to, it is, it's a club. I'll leave the other words out, but it's a club. And if you're not part of the club, they don't really care so much about your vote. But I have learned a lot about, I took some classes on being an advocate. And they said, to make change, you have to make change from within. Being on the outside, yelling and screaming, having signs, that's cute. It might make you feel like you're doing something, but you actually got to find a way to have a seat at the table and have some fruitful discussions about the rules, who gets the votes and how the votes are come up with, and some of the procedures that are going on within the league. And so to get a seat at that table, we do have some guys that are minorities that are very high up in the league, but we haven't reached that level of having, I think 5 to 10, a third of the league being ownership groups being majority minorities. So until we get to that point, we're always going to face a little bit of a stigma of, brown skin and black head coaches and GMs not getting the same amount of time to change the projection of a team. And then what teams are you actually going to be handed over to? The teams that are in the middle of the pack, they're good landing spots. They're they're landing spots for like coaches that are on the way up. Well, usually those positions are going to offensive and defensive coordinators that are, that are not minorities. And so when the best jobs are not being given to any of the minorities that are being hired, and the minorities are only being hired at the bottom 4 or 5 teams that have no chance of having a quick turnaround, well, then it's not surprising what those teams are, within a year or two clearing house again. And then we're put in that same position where, did this coach get fired because he didn't perform for 2 years? Or was he set up basically to fail? Was he set up with no really support from internally, support from the general manager or the scouting department or the ownership group to really give him a chance to turn this football team around, this culture around of this team? So it's so many different levels, and it's always comes back to, man, when you get to a position of leadership, if you get to be a head coach and you get an opportunity to turn around and pull up 15, 14 other assistant coaches to give them an opportunity, man, I don't care what job it is. I don't care which city it is. I don't care how bad the team looks right now. Man, take that opportunity and make a difference, make an impact. Give some young men, women, give some minorities some opportunities to show their worth, because they might not ever get that chance any other way. So I definitely think it's definitely still a top-down issue. And because there's not multiple ownership groups that are heavily invested in diversity, that's going to be the beginning point. But like I said, it starts from within. We got to find some seats, some chairs at the table somehow, some way to get in. And once you get in, you got to start just pulling some others up.
I love that. Thank you for that insight. And I hope people don't take that as like, it's a no-win situation, because I didn't get that from what you said. I got that we have to keep working. And we have to keep working. We have to keep taking the opportunities. We have to keep pursuing the opportunities and just do what we can.
Yes, yes.
And that's a good segue into my next question. So people talk about giving back.
Yes.
You actually do it. You live it. You mentor men. You work in community organizations. You've done military appreciation tours. You've led initiatives on MLK Day. What drives your commitment to service, and how do you measure its impact?
All right. So if you got a pencil and paper, this is the time. All right. This is when I get up on my pulpit and the pastor comes out and I get all buttoned up.
Okay.
It's definitely sowing, SOW. You got to grow. You got to harvest. You got to reap. So those are biblical principles, and they are not subject to the stock market, the highs and lows. They are not subject to any political views. So the roller coaster ride, we Democrat, Republicans, all these no. These are kingdom rules. These things, they stand the test of time. They are eternal. So when we talk about sowing, it's to plant the good word. Find a positive energy, whether it's a mentorship group opportunity, and it doesn't matter the soil. Right? Whether you're in the suburbs, your neighborhood, the downtown, uptown, you're in the schools, a club, a youth group, a prison ministry, at home or at work. You got to find a way to sow a good seed. Plant a seed in whatever soil that's attainable to you, but make sure it's positive. Make sure it's to somebody doing something in a positive way, a positive manner. Feed them something that they can grow with. And we talked about growing, right? Adding water, adding sunlight, and then sometimes actually providing some shade, providing some cover. So growing ain't always just about you. It's about the whole community. It's about, being able to pass on a few good words, some opportunities, giving some young men and women, maybe who are not from the same zip code as you are, some opportunities to get out of that zip code and show that they do have some intelligence and some worth. I had an opportunity. I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up in an area which was, it was middle class, but the most impactful person in my family, in my upbringing, was a coach who lived down the street. I played every sport for him at Rec League, Virginia Randolph Rams, but his name was Coach Starks. Coach Starks, from the second I was about 5 years old, I don't even know if he knew my name was Shawn, but he always called me Doctor. Hey, doctor, come on over here and help me with this. Doctor, when you gonna come out and get ready? It's almost T-ball season. It's almost baseball season. Hey, doctor, hey, we're going to have you out there on that football field, aren't we? When it's basketball season, hey, man, let's go practice some free throw. So he always spoke to me and called me doctor, to the point when I got to the University of Richmond, I thought I was going to be pre-med. Now, the classes got hard, and I had to make an adjustment halfway through school. But can you imagine the amount of time as a young adolescent, me having this guy speak just affirmation and words of wisdom and knowledge and positivity into my soul? I no matter if I was in trouble, no matter what my grades were, I had this feeling that at some point in time, I was going to be a doctor. Like, I was going to save people, help people. I was going to breathe life into other individuals. And you know what, KG, I kind of feel like, even though I don't have a PhD, that I am doing that from a level of mentorship. And so that's that growing aspect of it. And then you talk about harvesting. Be patient and allow people to fail. You got to allow your kids, your coworkers, people in your circle. You can't expect everybody to bat 1,000. You got to let them strike out sometimes. There's a lot of failure before there's any success, especially when we talk about long-term success. And that's how we get stronger, right? That's how we get stronger. The strife, you got to struggle a little bit to realize the road is a little bit bumpy. But that is definitely where we find the power. In its inner power is through some struggle and some strife, some failure. And we realize, you know what? As long as we don't quit, as long as we don't ever quit, then that determines when it's over. We can fail multiple times. We can try different things, different methods. But as long as we don't quit, we can find some avenues for success. And then lastly, but not least is reaping, right? And that's the reward. That's the reward. So to me, when I give of myself, my time, my resources, anything, like when I decide that I'm going to give my time to a homeless, whatever, the harvest, food bank, or whatever I'm doing as far as charity, that to me is the reward. Like it's not how much money I can raise or what the total for the event for this gala is. It's the fact that I gave up my time to show them how important they are in my life, and that makes me feel good. And so, like, I don't worry about the comeback. I'm not worried about how I'm going to receive something on the back end, or how is this going to long term bring me some kind of financial gain. It's just in the opportunity of giving some knowledge or some wisdom or some time from your life to somebody else in need. That, to me, that's what I'm trying to reap. That's the reward for me. And I think that has turned into such a great process. So sow, grow, harvest, and reap. Those things, like I said, from biblically, those are fundamentals. And it doesn't matter the political climate. It doesn't matter what your bank account or your stock portfolio looks like. You can always do those things. And the product is the fruit. Your life, your life, you will start bearing and seeing fruit grow in sometimes some dead places. But you'll see fruit grown in different avenues of your life that maybe you just wasn't aware of. But to me, that's the sign. That's how I know I'm doing the right thing, is because when I look at my sons, they're taking trips to foreign places and lands, and they're playing professional baseball, and they're part of a back-to-back champion, 3-time recently champion Chiefs staff. My daughter just got accepted to Alabama. So, like, those things is where I look for in my life, the reward to show itself is through my kids. And then from the happiness, hopefully my wife is happy.
She is. we pray for her.
Yeah. Because like right now I'm speaking some wisdom, but I am a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of wild hairs. I got a lot of it's tough dealing with me on a day to day. We just celebrated our 20 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
April. So it's been, a journey. It's been a ride, but I couldn't pick another person, another partner to experience that. I'm so blessed to be gifted her by the Lord. So
I love it.
Yes. So those are the things that I would say that people should hold on to.
All right. Y'all heard it. Sow, grow, harvest, reap.
Yes.
And another wonderful segue. You talked about the men's ministry you work in. You talked about mentorship. What is your philosophy on mentorship And how do you tie your personal and your professional experiences to help others see their potential beyond their circumstances?
Yeah, so I went back to my men's group at church, and I started to pray about for the Lord to kind of show me a light, or put a light on my own spirit and my soul, and show me where my flaws are, and definitely humble me. Like, man, like, let me, the pride. Let's put the NFL guy. Let's put him off to the side. Everybody, oh man, you play NFL. Man, NFL is a double-edged sword. It exposes you to some things in life that are probably not really who you are, and then it puts you in an avenue to try to like be a lot of things that you don't even really want to be. But all in all, you got to find a way to transfer and get through it. And then once you get through it, you got to be able to transfer those skills into the business world, because the NFL is not for long. That's one thing it does stand for. So I was blessed to play 10 years in the NFL, but still at the end of that only gets me to about 35 years old. I still got another, 45, 50 years to live life and to be able to, provide for my family and my wife and kids and everything. So you got to be able to transfer those skills. So what I did is, men's ministry in my church is really big. It was really important to me. I do believe it takes a circle of men around you. I think men need men. Iron needs iron to be sharpened by. It's a process of definitely, heating up that iron, letting it turn red hot, getting those impurities to come to the surface, and then through some, banging of the anvil and sharpening your tool set to be able to go out here and fight off all the demons that are out here in the world. But I started reading. I started doing some in-depth study, and I went through a 13-book course. It's a guy named Edwin Cole, and he has a series of books that are all focused around maximizing manhood. And so we had a course study that was led by some pastors and evangelists at our church, where we had a small group of men go through these books. And we would go through them together. We would break them down. Like a process, right? You got to chop it down. You got to build it back up, then chop it down, build it back up. Where are these things, reflecting and showing room for improvement in our lives? So it just, it showed different pillars of being a man, and how men would need it to mentor, and men would need it for protection. And sometimes you need to be a warrior. Sometimes you need to be a comforter. A lot of times you need to be a provider. So all the different roles a man needs in life. And then it spoke about them and it defined those roles in a kingdom manner, not with the world, because we know the world, if you watch TV, the majority of roles being played by men are like clowns and buffoons, and they're just, Al Bundy, the shoe seller, the world is just trying to break down all of our positive role models, put them behind bars, get them put in jail. I mean, you got to have something in your heart that knows what a man is. And I couldn't look for TV. I couldn't look for movies to define that role for me. So I went back to the source. I went back to my creator. If I want to know what I was created for, what purpose I was created for, who better to ask than in the Bible, right? I was created for a purpose. And so Edwin Cole does an amazing job of just really breaking those, a lot of that down to just a level where you can digest it, you can mull over it, and then you can, start to speak to other men, into other men's lives. And so that's what we've been doing in men's ministry at my church. We've been, some of the older guys who've been through the course, we grab some young fellows and we have coffee with them, have lunch with them, and we find out what they're going through. Because usually, as a 50-year-old guy, I've gone through a lot of the things that they're currently going through. You couldn't wait
to turn 50 so you could say, as a 50-year-old guy, you couldn't wait.
Because I mean, listen, you say what you want. I know I look good for 50 now. I be like, I've been seeing some of these jokers, but like, KG, I make 50 look good. I be telling my kids that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
If I give them something, I gave some genetics. I gave them some good genetics. So
you absolutely okay. Well, we gotta talk about that, because you said like your genetics came from Billy Barber. Now, come on.
Yeah. Oh, William Barber. William Barber is a Southern man. But you talk about a guy, Hellraiser, Bible carrying. Now, like my dad, William Barber, man, he's a guy from Southern Opelika, Florida.
Wow.
He played football growing up. He coached a bunch of kids in the Richmond area. He was a coach at Maggie Walker High School in the Richmond area. Mm-hmm. I mean, he military background. So yes, I was brought up. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. The respect level I have for my parents have never stopped. Never what it is what it is. It's a standard. I raise my kids that way. It's yes, ma'am, yes, sir, to their teachers, to their friends and parents.
Yeah.
You bring your kids over to my house. Unfortunately, it's my house. It's yes, ma'am, yes, sir. I don't care what you do at your own house, but here it's last names.
Okay.
I'm Mr. Barber, or maybe Mr. Shawn if I get to know you enough.
Okay.
And it's Miss Nicole or Miss Barber, but
yes.
Yeah, you got it's just a certain level of respect that my father has instilled in me, and I've passed that on to my kids. Mm-hmm. So but I do believe there has to be some formulation of foundation when it comes to men learning how to be better men.
Okay.
And I would definitely tell guys, start with Edwin Cole, any of those books. It's 13 of them. Pick any one up, and I guarantee when you get to the end of the book, there'll be some resources and some things you can fall back on.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. You've been touching on it throughout the conversation, but I want to ask you directly. You know, we have the theme, Trailblazing Footprints, Writing Black History Today. And you as the mic dropper, you the final episode now, so you got to come strong.
All right.
What legacy are you most proud of building, and what do you hope your trailblazing footprints will say to future generations?
I hope people understand when I tell them how proud I am of my sons and my daughter, that's the legacy point that matters the most to me. But for people who don't have kids, I don't want you to lose it and think that, oh, well, my legacy doesn't begin until I have kids, because you have so much influence and impact on a younger generation, and they don't have to be your kids to show you respect and to care about your thoughts about stuff. How do you process things? How did you evolve and grow through the last 20, 30, 40 years of your life? So you can walk a young 10-year-old or maybe a teenager through some fiery situations that are going on in his life. That does not have to be a kid that you reared, raised. You didn't have to bring him in this world to show him how to get through this world. And so I take a lot of personal pride, a lot of personal responsibility in not only my kids, but my kids circle, the 5 or 6 friends they can call their inner group. I try to treat them almost like they're my kids. So from a legacy standpoint, hopefully I'm doing my job of showing them, if you're a guy, I want to show you how to be upstanding and righteous and hardworking, be diligent, persistent, understanding what effort and attitude can do for you, taking responsibility for things in life. For a young lady, hopefully I'm showing you a standard of a guy that you're trying to be a part of their life, or you want to be a part of your life, because you don't have to follow behind no man. You can lead. Women, listen, I'm raising a daughter who's, I'm doing prayers for whoever the guy is that's got to be by her side, because I'm trying to show her the strongest version of myself so that she only pursues the best. So that's what I would say for young women and young men. Find yourself a mentor, find yourself somebody who you respect, and find out on a much deeper level, peel back the layers. Sometimes you got to peel that onion, and it takes some tears sometimes to really get to the heart of a matter. But when you get to the core and you find out what's really going on, for a lot of folks, it's absence of a parent, it's absence of love at the basic level, at the core level. It's no self-worth, no true self-worth about knowing who they are and that they matter and they're enough just the way they are. God made them for a reason. And it don't matter with nobody out here, no social media, no IG, Facebook, Snapchat. None of them groups think about the way you live in, the way you are in your heart. And is that being vulnerable, but understand that when you become vulnerable, you're also being protected by the person that holds you in such a high esteem. And that's the Lord and Savior. And so as you do your daily devotional and you become closer to him, he starts to expose to who you really are in his eyes. And to me, that is that bulletproofness that allows me to go out and stand before some young kids who after a tough loss, whether we're talking about the Eagles or the Chiefs or whatever team I played for, speaking to some young kids after a loss, they want to tell you suck. They want to tell you sorry. I spent my whole life, putting this image together, this strong linebacker that can go play the game. And they was like, well, how many Super Bowls you win? I'm like, none. How many Pro Bowls were you on Mr. Barber? I'm like, none. Well, how you play 10 years in the NFL? You ain't won no championships. You ain't been in no Pro Bowls. Man, you suck. And I'm like, hey, man, listen, respect that. But it takes a lot of time and effort, a lot of perseverance, a lot of strength to even last that long. Mm-hmm. So don't talk about the rings and all the accolades and all that kind of stuff until you know what it's like to make it through a training camp, make it through a 20-week season of the NFL, a postseason, and overcome, 2 ACLs and a neck surgery and thumb surgery and all the different things. That's the success in itself. And so all the other stuff is just icing on the cake, but you can't expect everybody to know that when they first meet you. So that's when you talk about layering the discussion and the conversation, I just try to meet people exactly where they are. I just want to meet you right where you are in your walk of life, and let's find a way to just get better together. Let's just find a way to grow together. And I found you talk about legacy. I found a lot of pride in helping some people get through some rough patches in life, besides just my own family.
Yes, absolutely. I have been blessed by you. I can say that as a not 50-year-old. But as someone not as old as you, but someone who has grown more. I have been blessed to know you in every season, in the sowing season, in the growing season, in the harvest season, in the reaping season, and we've had some conversations. You've helped me at times. Sometimes I had to hang up on you.
Yeah.
We said
it wasn't going to be a smooth path, right? The journey ain't smooth. You got to take some rocks and throw them out. We got to do some weeding, right? We talk about
the shade. We was in the shade.
I was in the shade. I needed to be I needed some quiet time to grow and get a little bit closer to get through that moment. Man, understanding the difference between being lonely and alone, it's a big difference. Lonely ain't good. That's the advice
you gave me though. Especially when I was in my real wilderness, and you would tell I would call you, and you would be like quote scriptures to me and stuff. I'm like, what? Leave me alone.
Because the word is good. The word, I was like, man, the word is good.
I didn't want to hear that.
No, the word is so good. It was so good. And I knew that was going to last a lot longer than whatever.
It did, and that's why we
quick fix in life we can try to come up with, and that's what again, we talk about people dealing with addiction problems and pornography problems, and those vices in life. Whatever that quick fix is, man, there's an everlasting fix. There's an everlasting one that will eternally quench your thirst. But you gotta drink of it. You gotta really let it just pour over you, and stay in that word, man. That morning devotional. Midday, having a little moment. I got my little daily calendar I flip every day. Right now we're on Philippians 4:19. My God will meet your needs according to his glorious riches in Jesus Christ. It's amazing how just a few words put the right way in scripture can just on a certain day be so impactful, so enlightening to somebody you haven't even met yet.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, at a stoplight, at a gas station, somebody cuts you off, and instead of you getting into road rage with them, you bless them, you pray for them, and then they come to you with man, it's been a tough day. It's been a real tough day. I didn't mean to cut you off, but man, I just was, I wasn't thinking, I didn't see you. So the fact that you reflect that with some understanding and some love and some care, instead of just treating them like the rest of the world, flicking them off, cursing them out, that kind of thing. Man, you just don't understand. It's out there. The fire, it's out there. People are being told so many times they're not worthy, they're not enough, they're negative stuff. And we just got to be constantly, purposefully pushing ourselves to be Let's see the glory. Let's see the light in folks. Let's see the greatness. Let's see what people's really their purpose here is. It ain't about your career. It ain't about the house or the cars or any of the material things. It's just about disciples making disciples, finding ways to meet people where they are and helping them walk and get a little bit more authentic and closer to God.
I love it. The doors of the church are open, but before we do the benediction,
amen.
Before we do the benediction, we gotta get to these rapid fire questions.
KG, before you started, I'm gonna tell you, you sent me everything. I did not read the rapid fire because I wanted these. I was understanding. I was like, you know what? If I don't read them, I might not have an answer for them. But if I don't read them, I will also give you a true response.
Okay, good.
So if your listeners, I ain't read these. So if I'm hesitating, it's just I'm trying to make sure I answer it in a professional way.
All right, I love it. All right, so please share a cherished Black history memory or tradition that shaped your understanding and appreciation of Black history and culture.
Oh, a tradition. Obviously, my mom is a teacher, and so we had the Black History flashcards. And so when I was a young kid, I got my first, probably around 10 years old, I got my first set of my own flashcards. So, the people that jumped to my mind, obviously, Martin Luther King, and all his struggles and all his, not only the things he's remembered as far as the movements, right? Because he says what takes it from a moment to a movement is that constant struggle, that constant strive, right?
Okay.
So he was, just so impactful for the movement, and understanding it was just it's a culmination of individual moments that led to that movement.
Okay.
Also, like if you read my bio, there was that moment where I was able to rent out a movie theater when Selma first came out, and so to be able to, I started off renting out this, they call it an XL theater because it has like 300 seats, one of those really large screen theaters. So I was able to pre-buy 300 seats for this Selma screening, but we offered it over the radio and so many people showed up.
That's awesome.
The movie theater gifted another 2 showings. So almost 1,000 young people were able to see the movie for the first time. And again, it still wasn't a me moment because the whole idea to do it came to me during the devotion.
Yeah, but it's a memory. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
a memory.
It's always a God thing. So yeah, just to be in a place in a time in my life where I didn't ignore his nudging. And I saw it, I saw the vision, and I just went ahead and went forward. Didn't know how it was going to turn out. Yeah. But man, definitely, that is definitely a part of my, when you talk about Black History Month, being able to be a part of that.
I love that. All right, so you might give this same answer, but what Black historical figure gives you a glimpse of yourself?
Ooh. Okay. Man. So I consider myself a very creative person. I consider myself a creator. And I am I can't sing. I can't play any instruments. But like when I go to sleep and I dream, I'm always playing some instruments. I'm always singing. So I think like somewhere in this DNA is a musician needs to be unlocked. But I've never got the proper training to actually unlock it. So I'm gonna keep that to myself. But we talk about the Black History moment. Quincy Jones.
Okay.
Right? So Quincy Jones,
I can see that.
His impact on the entire landscape
of music, yes.
Music to just giving folks a chance to just opening doors with all the different levels of the biggest pop stars and everything.
Yeah.
That's the way I would love to believe in some form I'm impacting the community I'm being impactful to.
Okay.
All the area code, zip code from Richmond, Virginia to being a part of the alumni group in the DC area, the MVA, the DMV, the Houston when I was with the Texans, up in Philadelphia, right? Fly Eagles, Fly World Champions. And then here in Overland Park, Kansas City, whether it's Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri. in all those different nuggets, pockets, I would love to think that I'm helping individuals, opening doors, giving a voice to young folks in a similar fashion to what Quincy Jones did for all those musical artists that he worked with.
That was a great answer. I don't think anyone has ever given a creative person. That was a great answer. I love that you didn't prepare these. This is working out. Who's a lesser known historical or contemporary Black leader who inspires you and we should learn more about?
A lesser known, lesser known, man. Yeah.
You could say Gene Barber.
Well, listen, we know, like you said, lesser known. That's the rock right there. My mom's the rock. Yes. Yes. So if you was to Google Shawn Barber, I think it was called Awesome Ambitions. So there's a youth group here in Kansas City that's ran by a woman who's a news anchor, and she selects 11 to 15 young ladies, and she helps them get scholarships, prepare for school, prepare for like their testing their senior year. So it's all like a high school prep situation where each year is 11 different individuals, but her goal is to have them better prepared for college. Okay. And so there was a segment that she wanted to do on me about who was the most impactful woman in my life. And so it was a special. I think it took me about 10 minutes, a 10-minute reel, the video where it was just me talking about how grateful I was to have a mother that was, she's a country girl that was born and raised in Charlottesville, made her way to Richmond, Virginia, went to Virginia State. So she has a love for HBCUs. She shared that love with HBCUs with me, but also battled a relationship with my father where it was some spousal abuse. But she stayed with him. She stayed with him because her kids to her were the ultimate priority. She didn't want us to struggle, and she didn't see a way to provide for us without her being in that scenario. Well, long story short, he was able to turn away from that type of, you want to call it type of love, or that type of relationship, and he became a loving husband later on in life. But she stayed with him through the rough times, through the storm. But she always made sure to hold her kids, and she kept us, what I would say, no matter what was going on, she kept us in the eye of the storm. Yeah. She kept us in a protected, calm, like we didn't even know a storm was going on outside of our walls. And the way she protected us is something that I've learned to pass on and try to do with my own family and friends. Everybody don't have to know what I'm going through for me to be available to help them. And I try to meet them in their moment. I try to find a way to get them through whatever turmoil they are and get them to that eye of the storm, get them to a calmness where they can start to now be aware of what's going on and maybe the highs and lows, the whys, the why nots, and to find some room for to be strong, to find some room and a moment to have some mental awareness and some recollection of where they are and how to not go back to the bad days. But going back to my life and then seeing and hearing from her, well, on this day, yeah, you thought you were going to your friend's house and it was a birthday party and da-da-da-da. But really back at home, man, all this was going on. And she was juggling and spinning plates and keeping everything afloat and just being a phenomenal, strong Black woman and just creating a like heaven here on earth, just creating a pocket for me to grow and develop as a young man and not despise and hate my father, not despise and hate my upbringing, my growth and what I was going through. Just realized that was just a part of life sometimes. That was just something that, you didn't get everything you wanted, but you're going to get everything you deserve. Just showing me some grace, some mercy, And I mean, she was, again, man, just a steward and always, very, very active in our church and with her sorority.
Yes.
So again, just showed me in so many different ways how it meant to be just a good person, just a loving person, and to protect family and to be a provider. She was everything. She was everything for us. And so I tried to live a life to, in multiple ways, honor her in everything I do. So not that my dad is somebody I didn't want to dishonor, but I probably reflect a lot more of I get a lot more of my positive traits from my mom.
Your mother. Yeah.
Miss Jean.
She's sweet. Miss Jean Barber, we love you.
Yeah.
You are awesome.
So,
thank you.
No doubt. Love giving Jean a shout out. All
right. So are there any books, films, or artworks related to Black history that you would recommend to listeners seeking to deepen their understanding of Black history? You about to pull it out?
I got some ones back here. I'm trying to figure out any of these. I'm currently through a bunch of I got books on, some different secular books by Jordan Rayner. I got some
John Severus books on I would again, I'm very I guess in life I'm probably very like, what is the word? I wouldn't say I don't see color anymore. Obviously, I'm aware there's still a lot of color barriers and bridges we can't go across and walls we can't go over. We might got to find a different route, but we can still get to the same goal type thing. Mm-hmm. But in my current readings and my current things I'm trying to enrich myself is more so about, I wouldn't say I'm worried about who the author is as much as I'm worried about like what's the
message,
what's in the message. So I'm doing a lot of stuff about like right now I'm trying to worry about
I don't have diabetes, but I do have a very high A1C. And so I have to get my sugar levels under control because I want to be around for my kids and my grandkids and stuff. So
okay,
I'll just show those to your listeners. So that's
all right. Undo it, but
how to reverse it.
You put people on a path though, because I think it's very important, especially during Black History Month, and when we're talking about Black people, Black men in general, to pay attention to your health, to be proactive in attending to it. So you absolutely. Oh, what you got? What you got there? Peacemaker.
This is Peacemaker, the Peacemaker, and this is by Ken Sande.
Okay, you still read by osmosis?
Say again.
You still learn by osmosis. I'm not exaggerating. I know this is off topic, but this man could sit in class, sleep.
That was a gift.
And get an A.
I think I was able to take a pen, right? I was able to put my notebook open and I would sit here like this. I think I would fall asleep a little bit.
Yes, he would.
I had a little twitch. So the teacher, I think they see that pen moving and they was like, well, he can't be asleep because he's writing notes. But I think it was a twitch I would learn. So I would sit there and my pen would be just twitching like that. And yeah, you're right. I would be gone. I'd be in a deep, what's that, REM sleep. Not many people can get to a REM sleep in class. I think that was one of the gifts I was given. I was able to get to a REM and still keep that pen twitch going on. So, man, you must got some good notes, man. You always write notes. Man, that was just a bunch of chicken scratch.
All right. We're right that.
Yeah, for books, authors, I would say, again, the last one was The Bait of Satan. That's that's just compelling you to just be honest and true with yourself. And the focus of this is just living free. Okay. Like getting all of that stuff, all those unwanted, undesirable expectations and like get all that stuff that other people have put on you to be, get it off your shoulders. And what do you really want to do with your life? What makes you happy? What have you really been purposed here to do and have your own lane and stuff like that? So a lot of those books, I think in a way, they teach you something about yourself, but at the end of the day, you end up with so much more time. Like I wake up at 5:30 every day and go to bed at 11:30. But I feel like I do about 48 hours of stuff in 24 hours. Like I feel like my like time seems like it goes a lot slower because I get so much more done.
Okay.
Now it's weird. It's weird.
Okay.
It's weird. I know it's the same amount of time.
You're awake.
Maybe that's
one of the funniest things I've ever said. Because I'm a pretty funny person, but that's probably one of the funniest things I've ever said.
Yeah, I do.
I love that for me. Okay.
I spend more time awake. Yeah.
Yes, you do. You spend more time awake.
I had a lot of sleep in college, I guess. So
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Someone who had class with you, I can tell you. I was like, what is happening? Anyway, how should we honor and preserve Black history beyond the month of February?
Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, I'm big on doing daily devotionals. In my office, I change all the artwork outside my office.
Okay.
So I put, obviously minority Black history figures for the whole month of February. Mm-hmm. And then I do some international women on a different month. And I do
next month. Yes.
Yes. So I will have a bunch of 5 or 6 different framed artworks where it tells a snippet about their impact on our community and impact on our world and how they've been game changers and way makers. But I would say everybody, like, during the weekends and stuff like that, we have these are so powerful,
mm-hmm.
right? These phones are so powerful. And the fact that we spend so much time playing Candy Crush or what is something you flip it's a bunch of 3 or 4 different color panels, and you got to flip them over to stack them up. No. These little color, little patches, and you flip them over to create a stack. What is it called?
Tetris?
No, it's little hexagon color.
I don't know what that is.
You gotta flip them over and expose other ones, and then when you get like a stack of 10, they all go away.
So it's like matching?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. My daughter got me involved in that, but any of these phone games, all I would, and again, I relate to things because I got 5 boys and a girl. So a lot of things in life.
Skipping that one, okay.
A lot of times in life, I relate things to how I talk to my kids. Not saying that everybody is a kid, but to me, like if I tell myself, all right, I want to play a game, then let me spend 15 minutes researching something new that I didn't know about a certain topic. And so, yes, if we want to broaden our horizon about Black history, let's tell, like before you get on this phone and use it as a game or use it to get on the Instagram, Facebook, social media, promise yourself you're going to spend 15 minutes looking at a pioneer, a minority, a Black history, brown skin pioneer, or somebody, or even not even historic, maybe a new, like who are the up and coming 30, 40-year-old guys and women who are in our community or in our workforce, Black-owned banks, Black-owned investment companies, how to keep the Black dollar in our circulation versus the 2.5 seconds it currently stays in the very short time it stays in our in our circle. But finding just this again a little bit of a bait switch, a little bit of a reward yourself. Do the
That's
work.
A charge. That's a charge I'll take on. That's what man say, or what the Sandman say on the Cosby Show challenge. That's a challenge. That's a challenge I'll take. 15 minutes every day, learning something new about Black history.
I love it.
All right, I love it. Ooh, I don't know the answer to this, and I'm a little scared. What's your go-to songs, or music genre when you want to hype yourself up to conquer the day?
Oh my goodness! My radio stays on here in Kansas City. It's called Life 88.5.
Is that like a Christian station?
It is.
Okay.
And I will tell you, TGBTG. So I've been
to God be the glory.
To God be the glory, right? Like those yes. To those, those initials to me, like I see them so many places.
Is that a song?
No.
The question is about a song.
I'm telling you, like how many times at the end of a song, it just TGB, like to God be the glory. That song was so Waymaker, right?
Oh, okay. I know that
Waymaker, healer, provider, right?
Okay.
Just.
All right, so we know your genre.
I mean, that's my. I mean, again,
anything that gets you, anything that ends with you saying TGB TG
TGB TG.
Yes.
God be the glory, right there.
Oh.
Man, amen, hallelujah. It is amazing. You talk about something that's able to like whatever is keep like. There's some days I'm in a fog and I'm like, man, I got to go work. I got to get there. I mean, there's just so many things for me to do. But somehow through listening, Life 88.5, like those songs are speaking about something and just, it feels like the whole temperature is like, it gets clear.
Okay.
Everything gets clear. Oh, you know what? You got time to do this. You do got time to drop them off. You do got time to jump on this podcast, and you got a tea time at 1.
Hey, Shade, calm down.
I'm gonna make it to the golf course on time. I'm gonna have a great round. I'm gonna talk a little business, but I'm gonna have a stress-free end to my Wednesday. The anxiety of trying to get my high schooler to high school at 6:30 in the morning, and then thinking about all my boys going to be prepared at 8:30 to go to the airport. And then once I drop them off, I'm going to have time to get back to the job. When I get back to the job is the trap conversation. Hopefully, is it going to pull up on my computer? Is my computer ready for StreamYard versus having to download it?
A lot of commercials, sir.
Well, all of those worries, right?
You give a lot of commercials. Come on, stop name dropping stuff. They didn't give me no money. So stop that.
all of those worries were uncalled for. Like I was worried about things that hadn't even happened yet.
Whoa.
But it's like the songs would tell me that the victory is already yours. You've already won.
Okay.
We are not victims. We are victorious, right? Yes. We don't just survive life. We thrive through life. It's just a champion growth mindset.
Okay.
And so I just left all those worries back at 6:15 in the morning when I dropped my kid off at high school.
Okay.
All the rest of the day it's gonna fall in place. Like I've done what I was supposed to do to be ready for this moment, for this day.
Awesome.
So yeah, I would say I stay encouraged. I stay enlightened. I get to speak to a diversity and inclusion group at Avila University here in Kansas.
Okay.
Tomorrow I speak to them. They have a DEI class that Professor Altman, and so I speak to this class once every semester.
Nice.
And so I'm basically framing your 6 questions as that's going to be the meat.
I love that for me. You can now I do take donation. You can send me a check. I'm teasing you. Don't do that. I'm teasing you.
No, I'm saying the appearance fee I charge for doing this. Just go ahead and
you're right.
Into the trap connection. You know what I'm saying? This is the trap.
You're right. You're right. I love you. You're right. All right. Okay. What's the best piece of career advice you would give your early career self?
Oh, early career. Do not worry about the paycheck. Don't worry about the number, the amount. Find something you enjoy to do and find a way to do it. Find something that brings you true joy.
Okay.
Joy. Do not worry about being happy. Happy is just a moment. Happy is go eat a cheeseburger. Happy is go hug a person. But with your career,
joy.
Find something from a career-driven resume building. I love evaluating football players. I love watching talented players grow and become better. So between coaching and scouting and all those different years I spent doing that, that is the joy I found in sports. Besides playing it to me it was stressful. It was a little bit, it was a lot of things that, they were going to cut me if I didn't make this tackle, if I'm too many mental errors and somebody takes my position. How do I remain a starting caliber player on the field to make sure I have a contract and can pay my bill? That was stress. But the fact that the NFL goes to Indianapolis once a year and they have the scouting combine, and then on ESPN or on some channel, we're able to watch all the skill drills. I watch it all the time. I'm not a paid scout. I come up with my own ranking, my own top 100. I go through team needs and wants and off-season moves, and I put my own mock draft together. I find so much joy in doing it, but I'm not going to sit around waiting for a NFL team to pay me and hire me to do it because I love doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel so good about doing it. And then when it's time for me to talk about football on my podcast, and I'm talking about this wide receiver from Boston College that the Ravens got a couple years ago, Zay Flowers. And I talk about when I saw him at the combine, man, his movement, his skill level, his fluidness of routes. The guy who I'm talking with is like jaw dropping. Like, how do you know so much about so many players that aren't even on, like, that guy didn't end up with any of your former teams.
Right.
Like, how do you know? How do you have that much? I was like, because I study. I have a love for watching guys through the process, grow, develop.
I love that.
Man, it's something that I've always loved doing. So, I mean, the fact that 32 NFL teams haven't found me yet in order to, I told you it's a top down, sometimes.
I love it.
Organizations don't want to be better. They don't. They want to be right. They don't want to get better. They want somebody to come in and tell them the way they're doing it is right. Which I am not that guy. I am not going to tell you that nope.
So find that joy.
Find that joy. And press into it. Find that joy and press into it.
Again, something I'll take with me. If you wrote a book about your career so far, what would the title be? Barbershop.
Now, you didn't know this, but I do have a book.
I did not know this.
Now I didn't write it. I didn't publish it. Oh man, I didn't publish it.
You're a smart person. I know the meaning of words. Here you go again. If you wrote a book, what would the title be?
Oh my goodness. The 7 C's of Greatness.
Seeds.
The letter C.
Oh, C. Okay.
Yeah, it would be the 7 C's: cultures, camaraderie, cohesion, chemistry, cooperation, competition. Last but not least, but most important, communication.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, that would be those are the 7 overarching chapters, and then I would break down how each one of those things have a prophetic, long-lasting, unapologetic impression on my life and who I am right now and my day-to-day. The culture is the standard, camaraderie, the friendship, cohesion, togetherness, chemistry is that experience. Who do you want to really celebrate things with in life? Cooperation is the teamwork. Competition is understanding how to build and grow from a challenge. And then communication is about building bridges, not building walls. So those are that book is down there.
Okay. It is time for the benediction.
Oh.
So tell us any upcoming projects or initiatives we should be on the lookout for. Tell people where to find you, where to follow you, where to go and listen to your podcast, all that good stuff.
The podcast, let's start with the podcast, The Process.
Okay.
That's found on the KCSN, Kansas City Sports Network platform. It's all on Spotify, YouTube, it's on everything. This The Process, Shawn Barber, that should bring up all the episodes. On Instagram or on Facebook, I don't know which is which, but Shawn Barber 59 is a good place to start. Because I know I'm like underscore something or S Barber 59 or something.
No, don't go to his social media. He don't do social media.
I mean, I'm there, and I got some followers, and people follow me, and I follow.
I have it scrolling at the bottom. It's at Shawn Barber 59.
Oh, look, KG, you had it on. Look, yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Right on the screen. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah, she got me. She covered me. See, that's that shade.
She doesn't even know.
That shade. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because she know I did not know the Instagram or the I don't know the problem. It's one of them got like Shawn Barber 913. One of them is Shawn Barber with a bunch of random. Just look for my. You look for my. Like
your young fit 50-year-old self. There you go.
You see that? That's me.
Okay. What else? Your podcast. What else?
Oh my goodness! Obviously, you said business development. Anybody who's looking for some employee benefits advice, I'm with the McGinnis Group. So
yes,
you can reach out to me via online through that McGinnis Group. If you're looking for some spiritual enlightenment, I go to the Church of the Harvest. Out in Olathe, Kansas.
Olathe,
yeah. Olathe, Kansas. Church of the Harvest, you can see that, download their app, and they stream service every Sunday, online and stuff. So I'm if I'm not there in person, I'm watching online, and I got, Shawn Barber 59 or Barbershop 50. So one of those kind of things, you'll see my tag or whatever. So yeah, if we happen to be watching service together,
say, hey,
drop me a little, say, hey, Barber. Yeah, what's going on? How you doing? Other than that, KG, like I said, with my daughter getting ready to go to Alabama, I'm going to be
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I'm going to be invested in her financially, emotionally, spiritually, for the next 4 to 5 years. She's a part of the dance program there. So I'm so proud of her for that.
Congratulations.
The boys are playing baseball and football. The younger high school boys, I got a 10th grader, goes to Blue Valley, playing baseball and football. The one who's out in Arizona, I'll go visit him a few times to watch some of the minor league games.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to end up playing in a multitude of golf tournaments for charities and going to galas. And I'm a big supporter of American Heart Association.
Okay.
Big supporter of Big Brothers Big Sister. Those are the things that kind of are staples in my calendar every year, I think. Other than that, I'll be back in Philly for a golf tournament with Brian Dawkins. I'm on the board of Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation, so I try to go back there and play in his golf tournament. It's going to be like right before training camp.
I don't know. People don't know what that means. What month is that?
Oh my goodness. I would say it's in the month of like right before training camp, so maybe like June, middle of June.
Okay.
I'll be down in Atlanta at a golf tournament for Brian Jordan, another fellow Spider.
Yes.
His golf tournament is usually in end of the summer, August, September-ish.
Okay.
For the Brian Jordan Foundation. I'll be back in Richmond, Virginia at University of Richmond twice. Golf tournament in gala. One is for Greg Beckwith. Rest in peace. He was a Adidas rep, but he also was a basketball player, University of Richmond. He passed away unexpectedly a few months ago. So his family is having their first annual for his foundation. That's going to be May 4th and 5th at the University of Richmond.
Okay.
And I'll be back May 18th and 19th will be for the Darrell Green's golf tournament, which is out in Magnolia Green area.
So you got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever vocally heard myself say it all, so it does.
Yeah.
That does seem like a lot, but it all gets done. It all gets. Again, I'm not going to worry about it. I put it on the calendar, and I'll be there. I'll find a way.
Well, Shawn, I cannot thank you enough. First and foremost,
thank you for even thinking I was important enough to be.
You absolutely are. I couldn't listen. This was a wonderful way to end Trailblazing Footprints, writing Black History today. I want to thank you for being a tremendous guest. Again, I knew you were going to be great, but I didn't know you was going to be this great. I am so proud of you. I am so thankful. And I'm also thankful that you waived your appearance fee for me. I also want to thank all my other guests. So if you have not seen any of the other Black History Month episodes for this year, please do go and check out. We had Sarah Morgan, Celeste McCall, Billy Allen, Morgan Malachi, Reverend Dr. Mark Tyler, Kalila Lyons, Kim Jones, and now Shawn Barber, Barbershop 59.
Honored to be even mentioned with all those names you said. That's a phenomenal group. They're a guest of yours because you have a great platform. You're doing an amazing job. Bringing people together, sharing great nuggets of knowledge and wisdom. So you just keep doing what you're doing, KG.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And make sure y'all tune in next month. We have Women's History Month, and I've got some phenomenal, amazing guests coming up for that. Again, we're going to do some additional episodes outside of our 4 monthly. We're going to have a few extra episodes because I want to get as many women's voices in as I can. Thank you all for tuning into another episode of Trap Chat, and I will see you in March. Bye-bye.